Hold on, I heard traitor.
No law-abiding citizen should have any fear of this public safety measure.
Oh,
I'm
this
certain
one.
nothing I could ever say would dissuade you from your convictions. I'm also certain you did not vote for me in the first place, so have a nice day.
This is the letter that Denise Murray, response that she got from Mike McLachlan as a duly elected representative of his constituents of Southwest Colorado, who he said would what would you say? You would...
I'm sorry, I don't know what you want me to say.
Would you represent all of us?
Yes.
So are you representing those of us that believe in gun rights and the Second Amendment?
I believe I am.
Okay, now a response like that to a letter from a constituent, do you think that is reasonable and a responsible thing to do?
I'm not going to respect any constituent or anybody that calls me a traitor to the United States.
But you are if you go against the Bill of Rights and the Constitution.
But that's the way you look at the Bill of Rights.
No, that's the way our founders looked at that.
No.
Wendy,
I'm not going to have this dialogue with you.
Where did
because you and I know we disagree.
I know, but where did you get your constitutional studies done at?
Well, I did go to law school. I
know, but that doesn't mean nope.
You know, I mean, how about reading Heller versus the District of Columbia? Do you want to read that case, the U.S. Supreme Court case?
I've looked at it.
Yeah.
And why do you think that the Supreme Court, who is elected by the current president, and so basically we're having the fox watch the hen house, why do you think that the Supreme Court should have the final rule and not we the people?
Because that is what we have done in the United States since the beginning of the Republic.
No, it wasn't.
No,
the first court case, what was... Some of the court cases they were saying they weren't even supposed to be the final verdict on the case. They were supposed to give their opinions of what was constitutional and unconstitutional. Now it's the Supreme Court is the final law. That's it. Forget we the people. It's just a partisan game now.
Well, that's what you think. The fact of the matter is, since 1793 in the decision of the Supreme Court in Marbury versus Madison, and since that time, over 200 years, it's been the law of the land that the United States Supreme Court defines the terms of the Constitution.
But the laws have to be pursuant of the Constitution, correct?
Yes, absolutely, and that's what the Supreme Court tells us.
And so how is a law against the Second Amendment pursuant to the Constitution? Because the Second Amendment, the Bill of Rights, says the rights shall not be infringed.
Well, again, you're talking about absolutes, and that's not in accordance with either
My Bill of Rights
law.
is an absolute.
Yeah, I understand, and you're living in a different universe than the rest of us.
Oh, by the way, Mike, I'm Denise.
That was good.
So you didn't like my answer. You called me a traitor.
No, I said, well,
You are a traitor.
And I also left some information up there for you. One very fine quote by Mr. Jefferson. Also a list from JPFO, which is the Jews for the Preservation of Firearms Ownership, considering the countries over the last century that have been disarmed by very much the same message that we're seeing in this country now. So just, you might want to kind of take a look at that.
I'm not aware of anything going on in the United States regarding disarming in the United States. I think that we
mentioned the bill in
statistically,
Washington State bill.
Look at the law in the United States, and since the conversation about gun ownership has increased and doubled. And I'm not supporting any restriction on the right of law-abiding citizens to possess a weapon.
Okay. We'll check on you later and see where you're
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I want you to know that I do not appreciate you calling me a traitor, and I do not appreciate you whatsoever what you're expressing. So we're going to have to disagree.
Yeah, I just think you need...
Where's your son? Isn't he in the military?
Ma'am, I appreciate that, and as a state representative, I try and read the Constitution as much as you do.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so.
A little indifferent.
Yeah. Don't think so.
I think you're